Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Robert Villar. Today, I will be doing a quick video on entering and editing worksheets uh, in Excel. It's basically putting in data into your Excel worksheets, okay? Let me go ahead and get my screen shared so that I can go through and do some quick introductions. Essentially, what we're going to be doing has to deal primarily with putting in numbers into our Excel file. And so I'm opening up with an Excel file, and I just kind of wanted to go through how Excel does information. So in Excel, we can do a bunch of things. We can store data in as text. And so in this case, my addition or add is just that. It's text. However, I then have numbers. So I have the number 10, I have the number 15, etc. But I can also do formulas. And in this case, I've gone and I said, okay, well, I want to add 10 plus 15. Well, that gives me 25. And I want to show two different ways of how that formula is entered. And so in column H, we see the text of how that formula is calculated. So G gives us a total. However, there are formulas there. And so in column H, all I did was I displayed for you the formula text that I was using. So in the case of an addition, I did 10 plus 15, whatever. That is bad spreadsheeting. This is bad. We don't want to do that. We don't want to hard code numbers into our formula. What we want to do is we want to put in formulas. So let's say I want to change and I want to say, well, 20 plus 15, well, that formula didn't update. However, if I come here and I do 20 plus 15, that formula updates, okay? And so that's the importance of doing good spreadsheeting. So always try to refer to a cell rather than a hard-coded number. Unless that number is not going to change, you should always be making reference to a cell reference, okay? So that's one of the things I wanted to tell you about. So as you go applying numbers and applying formulas, you want to keep an eye out for. Okay, here are just some of the basic formulas. So I have an addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, these are there. For multiplication, we're using the asterisk, and for division, we're using the slash. And that's the slash that you find above the number 8 on your number keypad, or under your question mark on your keyboard. Okay. One other formula is the sum formula, and that formula, here I figured out the sum by adding 25 plus 15 plus 12 plus 4 gives me 56. However, when I apply the sum formula, well, that's going to give me the number as well. And so in Excel, they have a formula. It's called sum. And if you basically type in equals the sum, parentheses, and then the range of data. And so within the parentheses are the numbers that you want summed, okay? So there's other ways of doing that. You can basically put in equals, type the sum, then you need a parentheses because you need to tell Excel that after the formula or the function, in this case, the sum, what numbers do you want to sum? And I can actually go in and select all 4 of those numbers. Still gives me 56. Right? So I still have 56. I could also do a built-in function. So remember, under the Home tab, we have this ribbon. And under the ribbon in the editing, there is the auto sum formula. It is actually the Greek symbol sigma. Okay. And so we can simply click on that sigma, and then it'll type in the sum, it'll get our parentheses together. Then all we have to do is tell it which numbers do we want to sum, and it'll go ahead and sum it for us, okay? So different options, and since we were on that sigma, I will tell you that that drop down also gives us average, number, count, max, mins, other things that are there. There's obviously more formulas, but you can go ahead and do that, okay? So just wanted to tell you that, okay? So that's some basic summation, some basic formulas. When you enter text, so we've entered text in here, and this was, pretty simple. And so remember, if our text gets cut off, we can, double click between two columns and it'll make it wider. However, if we want to show you, let me go over here. This is a long text filler, and this is, web designers and book publishers and whatever have been using this actually since the 1500s. This is standard internet thing. You go in and you say, I need sample text, and you tell it how many paragraphs, how many words, whatever, and it'll automatically populate this for you. So notice here how it put all of my text. And when I tell you there's a lot of text, there is a lot of text. And it just put it in one cell and it formatted all the way across. Well, the problem with that is that if one of my other cells has any information, it's going to truncate that. Now, the words didn't change. However, it's just the amount of data that is displayed. So in Excel, we have a couple of options on how we can do this. My favorite one is the wrap text. So we go back to the home page. On the home ribbon, under alignment, we see this ABC with the downward arrow. That allows us to wrap the text. And so it lets us wrap extra long text over multiple lines. And so there it did. Now, yeah, it put it all into one text, but I can double click to make my column wider. I can even extend it further, right? And now all I have to do is resize my row. Now it doesn't matter if I had data in the next cell, it's been wrapped to nicely fit in that one cell, okay? That's a great little trick or feature for dealing with long text. The reason we care is because, again, if we have the long text and we have data next to it, it's going to truncate that. And so the only way around that is to wrap our text, okay? There's other things that we can do, right? There's other formats that we can put data into. And so what I kind of want to do is flip quickly to how we do some of our editing. I'm going to basically come into the, try to see which format I want. I've already taught you the sigma. So here I have a set of data. This is the same data set that we did on the video where you did your first Excel file. If we click on the sigma, it automatically auto sums everything above it. If we do the sigma here, it's going to take everything to the left. So depending on where you click, the sigma symbol is where the data will where the formula will populate, okay? And there is another formula, or I should say a keyboard shortcut, Alt equals, and that'll also get you the auto sum feature, right? So there's keyboard shortcuts for different things, okay? Let's say we need to enter information or edit information, if we select any field, right, and we basically are in a ready mode, if we double click that, it brings us into an edit mode. And we know we're in the edit mode because if we go down to the bottom, we see the status, we see that we're in edit mode. And so we can make changes. So let's say we only wanted to take the sum for the last 6 months of the year. We can, using these little blue corners, we can drag our data up or down, and it changes it. Now, a couple things that populate here is when we look inside of the formula bar, we have the X and the check mark. The X will basically cancel what you're doing. The check mark will accept it or enter it, okay? And so there's the formula. I'm going to undo it, Alt-Z. No, I'm sorry, Control-Z. And I'm going to undo it and go back to my other one. There's other ways of editing data. We can also hit the F2 key, and that gets us also into the edit mode. Now, as we do, it's important that we pay attention to where we're at, right? We can double click that, but if we use our arrows, right, sometimes that works, right? Sometimes our arrows are not going to work. When we click on our arrows, it will sometimes take us to the next column. So if we're in one of those situations, once we are there, we can navigate into the formula bar and we can place our cursor. Once we're in there or we've hit the F2 key, then we can use our regular cursors to get through and navigate the information. You can also overwrite information. You can select multiple things. You can change symbols, etc. And so long as you click the cancel, it's not going to save anything. It'll get you out of there. Okay. So it's a little bit of navigation within Excel and some formula handling as well. Let's say we want to I'm going to insert a column here, and I'm going to say year. And let's say that we want to insert in all of these columns, we want to insert the same date. To basically say 2023, we can hit Control Enter. And we can go ahead and select multiple data. So click here. Mine is not working. So I've selected all my cells. Oh, Control Enter. So let me make sure I'm. And then it keeps it highlighted. I type in the year, and once I type in my year, Control Enter, and that didn't work. That did not work for me. Why did that not work? Control Enter. There we go. Now it worked. So I select the data.